Cameron. Hello, viewers. Thank you for joining for another segment of Cameron with Authors Inside. Today, I'm excited to have my brother Bell with us. But before we get started, can you press the like button, subscribe, so you can see more notification every time we drop an episode. I appreciate it. How you doing, brother Bell? Would you introduce yourself to our viewers?
All right. Well, thank you very much, Brother Emmanuel. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here. Me and Emmanuel go back a long ways. You might see this little gray right here, but me and Emmanuel used to work out up in the pen in
Yeah,
prison.
yeah,
He was my burpee partner. I used to keep him on his toes, and he used to keep me on my toes, and you know. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. My name is Bell Lua. I'm part of an organization called the Faux Movement. It's a bunch of Samoan brothers that come together. We're all ex-gang members. We are all brothers. Majority of us been in prison. I myself did 30 years and came home in 2017. And while I was in prison, I was able to turn my life around. And today, I work with an organization where we give back to our community. We try to show the youth a better way. And we just moving up and down Southern California, man, just grooving with the community, giving back, working with domestic violence women, the homelessness. I mean, we love what we're doing. And um, this work that we do is a healing process for a bunch of us that have been in prison.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
not to cut you off.
yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we did have quite a journey when we were in there, working out and just keeping each other on each other's toes. Um, can you share with our viewers about your journey, about your prison experience? How was that like?
Well, I went in. I got busted for my case in 1987. I was fighting a second-degree murder. I was coming out of LA County Jail. And it was a lot of things, man. I've been in and out of the county jail, but then when this happened to me, um, I didn't know what happened really because I was running from the police. We had a chase in L.A. and I was under the influence of PCP and alcohol. And
Mm.
next thing I know, man, I woke up in the hospital. There was two detectives that were there, and they came up to me. I was still in my bed. They was transferring me from the USC Medical Hospital back to LA County Jail, and they asked me if I was ready to talk. They asked me if I've been charged with a 187, and if I wanted to talk to them or talk to my lawyer. At that time, I'm sitting there in the gurney and I'm like 187. That name, that the numbers sounded familiar, but then it clicked right away and then gave me about a minute. I was like, oh man, So I said, I told him, I wanted to talk to an attorney. And so it wasn't until I went to court I found out what happened. And yeah, I fought my case for 2 years. Um, in LA County. At the whole time I was there, I was hurt. You know, I damaged my knees, my hip. So I'm going through the whole process, and I'm disabled at the time. I'm handicapped now. I'm
Yeah,
not the same person that I was. So I had to figure out how I was going to do this. Because when you go to the LA County Jail and any kind of system, man, you got to learn how to survive.
definitely,
So
definitely.
yeah, so I kind of licked my wounds and did my best to recover, and I got a 15 years to life sentence in 1987. Went up to Old Folsom. I was moving a lot better. I was moving a lot better, but I still wasn't 100% the way I'm used to being.
Yeah.
Got to Old Folsom and went right into a cell with somebody that was really active. I ended up getting in trouble right there.
When you say, excuse me, not to cut you off, when you say someone was really active, what do you mean by that? Share our views. What do you mean by really active?
What I mean by really active, this is somebody that is with the business. When I say with the business, is somebody that carries knives and uh you know um
Have that gang
ve-
mentality.
yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
was a gang member myself, but I was like, sometimes for me, I like to get into the groove slowly. I want to see who's who and what's what, and then get in there. But I was thrown into this cell, and once I was in there, man, it was on and cracking. Whatever happens, happens, man. If it was, if we ended up doing something, that's what it's gonna be. So, 30 days going into old Folsom, man, we ended up going to the hole. And we went to New Folsom. And the reason we went to the hole because this dude was so active that the Gooners was on us. The Gooners is it's like the SWAT team on the streets. When the SWAT teams knows about who's selling drugs, whatever they got to do, they come in there. They know exactly what's happening. Well, that's what the Gooners are in prison. When they come knocking on your door, they know who you are. They know what's going on with you, what you're doing, and so they come in there busting down the door, and that's what happened. We was going in there because there was some shot calling involved in that build, in there. So they took both of us to the hole, and we ended
hmm
up in New Folsom. New Folsom was a whole nother, ball game as well. You go over there, and we went to the B yard. At that time, that whole yard is active. I mean, they're just going at it, the blacks, whites, the others, Mexicans. I mean, it's you never know what's going to happen the next day,
hmm
because there's always something going on. You come out your cell, you go on to breakfast, and anything can pop right there. So I was there for another few years, and man, I just been all over the place, man. I
So
got
not
bust.
not 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 to cut you off. So it sounds like your journey right off the bat was real. It was met with a lot of turbulence, and it was real. A lot of violence and a lot of game activities and racial inside prison.
Yeah, it was me. I stayed in the hole in the beginning of my time because I was always involved in something. Uh um just with other races, drug trafficking, yeah,
Let,
just staying,
let me,
just being caught up.
hey Bill, let me ask you this: can you tell our viewers what was the violence things you ever saw in prison?
Just somebody getting sliced up in the hole. It was I believe it was a white dude went up to a brother from the back and just sliced him up. I mean, anytime you see that, man, it's just like, because what's going to happen. I seen, a dude get busted right in the head with a dumbbell, but things are going to happen, and everybody knows it's going down. But when it happens, man, it's just like, it's because you never get used to it. Like for me growing up, I mean, I grew up in that mentality, but when you see blood, you see things happening, dudes just getting busted up, man.
Yeah,
It's just, you
yeah,
trying to get used to it. You trying to make sense of this stuff, but man, it's just
yeah,
a crazy world we're stuck in.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That was very violent, and you've seen a lot of violent things. Can you tell our viewers what led you to that gang lifestyle before you came to prison? What led you down that path?
Um, it was pretty much because I wasn't doing too good in school, man. Growing up, let me back up just a little bit. I come from our family is the first generation of Samoans that came from Samoa. So we came like back in the 70s, early 60s, I mean late 60s, early 70s, man. And so my mom and dad, their main goal was just to put a roof over our head, find work, and put food on the table. That was their main goal, and they didn't speak the language. I mean, when I go back and think about it, man, it's like me. I mean, it's crazy because they came all the way out here. Just, it was a dream for them to make sure that their kids, ended up the right way. And then, so what happens is once they get to, my dad, he was working. We had a place to stay. We was trying to find out. For me, I was trying to find my niche. I didn't really know where to go because once I come out that door, because my mom and dad didn't speak English, so it was like a miscommunication there for me. I was still learning how to speak Samoan. So when I come out that door, I'm learning about all these other races. The blacks, the whites, the Mexicans, and so I had to deal with all this, right? So back in the days, they didn't know what we were. we were too big to be Mexican and too light to be black. So when I used to tell them I'm Samoan, they would just look at me and, I try to tell them Fiji, Tonga, because they're like, where's that at? And I try to tell them that. They won't know until I say Hawaii. That's when, oh, yeah, okay, Pacific Islanders, but they still didn't know what we were. So, when I would come home, I was young. I remember I was in elementary. I'll come home and I'll ask my dad, to help me out with my homework. And, because of the miscommunication, pops, he get kind of like, upset a little bit when he's
Yeah.
trying to tell me how to, do the thing, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not catching on right away, right? So he'd get upset, and so it was like, okay, I'm not going to ask my dad no more, right? So what happened was with me, I just I didn't ask my teachers any questions, because of that. I didn't want the teacher to, to get at me, like that. And so I went through junior high, high school, just trying to learn, on my own. And, you know,
Yeah.
it was a miracle that I learned to read and write and all that. But, I just was afraid to ask questions. And then
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that part, kind of led me, and I wasn't able to play sports because of the church I grew up in, the Seventh-day Adventist church. You're not supposed to do anything on Friday nights to Saturday nights. That's the Sabbath, the
Yeah.
holy day. So you got to keep that holy. So I wasn't able to play football, because varsity is Friday nights.
Yeah.
So that kind of kept me away from sports, and that I love sports. I grew up playing sports, and in elementary, my brother taught me how to play basketball, football, my older brother, and but I couldn't play when I got to high
Yeah.
school.
Not to cut you
Go ahead.
off, Bill. Yeah, that's very interesting because basically you were a foreigner. You wasn't from here.
Right,
Um, you kind of held yourself back because you had to learn everything, and it was kind of difficult for your parents to help you as well. So you had to figure things out on your own.
right.
So would you say that's what led you to gravitate towards gangs? Was it to fit in more to say?
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what drove me that way, because I didn't understand that the beauty that I possess, as far as being Samoan from the Pacific Island, and just our culture alone,
Yeah, yeah,
God,
exactly.
family, I didn't understand there was beauty in that,
Yeah,
but I went that other way, and I started hanging around with the kids that's getting in trouble. I started getting high. In about seventh grade, I started smoking weed. By the time I was in ninth grade, I was testing out PCP. I was going through that hardcore stuff, straight from marijuana to PCP, and I was drinking. And by the time I got to the high school, man, I was, and then while I was going through this transition, I was fighting all the time. And, I found out real quickly that, I could sling them pretty good,
yeah,
And
yeah,
so that's what kept me in the game as well, because now that I got some size, I could sling it, dudes started respecting me, and I took, and I got, that's how I got my foot
okay.
in.
Okay, let me take you back to prison. Now, while you was in prison and still having the gang mentality, what was your turning point? What got you to turn things around? What changed your mentality?
Oh, it took years, man. It didn't just turn. It took me another 15, 17 years in that mess that I created for myself. And it wasn't until, I made up my mind, Governor Brown was coming in, and, just having conversations with you as well. When we doing our burpees, I know, I remember back then that that you wasn't going to the board until 2020 something, and I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And just our conversations and conversations I had with different brothers, and then just being fed up, man. It came to that point where when Brown was letting, the lifers go, I was like, man, this is my time. I didn't want to die in prison. And so all that, and then God putting people in your life that matters, that was gonna make a difference in your life, So and I say that with, that's when my wife came in. She wasn't my wife at the time. She was just, a friend from, one of the homegirls from the neighborhood,
yeah,
and we started talking. And then one thing led to another, but all that stuff started happening, man. All at that one
yeah,
time, I wanted to give it up. I wanted to give it up because, brothers that we grew up with
Yeah,
was doing good, and they was going home.
yeah. So brothers that you grew up with turned, you seen their change, and loving someone more than you love yourself when your girl came in the picture, and you being sick and tired of being sick and tired. What allowed you to turn things around?
Just doing the work,
Yeah.
going back and get my GED, uh, doing all the self-help programs, criminality thinking, criminality behavior, victims awareness, victims impact, domestic violence. I mean, you name it, I did it. But the
Let me
biggest
ask.
impact, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I would say the biggest impact of all these classes, I started facilitating, alternative violence at CMC West. But the thing that really turned it was the victims' impact. That right there, when I went to that L-top program, because I had all the programs, but I just knew there was something missing. I knew there was something missing in my delivery when I go to the board. And I wasn't just doing it for the board. I was doing it for myself. But I just knew there was something missing. And I went to the L-top program, the CMC East, and man, when I got into that victims awareness class, man, victims impact, man, it really made a big difference. It just took me from my understanding of all the damage I've done. It just took it to another level, man. It just, and when I speak about it, it gets emotional all the time, because you can't go through that and hold on to it, because that's some deep stuff, and I remember this, just that time when I'm sitting there, learning about all this stuff is deep, man. And just thinking about it is it gets
Yeah.
it gets me.
And I empathize with you and I understand because when you able to see firsthand the pain you cause in other people's lives
Yeah,
and them sharing with you the harm that you cause, yeah, like you said, it's very emotional. It's very
yeah,
painful. Like guilt, you dealing with a lot of guilt,
yeah,
pain, hurt,
shame, yeah,
all those feelings start popping back up.
yep.
I understand that. I definitely can relate to this. So let me ask you this. Bell, did you lose a family member while you was incarcerated?
Oh man, how many? You know, um,
Tell us how many family members did you lose? Tell the viewers how many family members you lost while you was incarcerated.
Man, I lost my mom and dad, my sister, her husband. I lost a brother. I lost a grandchild. I mean, the list just goes on and on, man. It's painful, man, because I put myself in this situation. It was the dumb choices that I made that created everything that happened in my life, and without knowing the damage that comes with it. And part of that, not only did you take someone's life, but you also wasn't there for your family. When your parents
Mm.
get older, when your parents get
Hey,
older, it's your
that
turn.
part hurts, huh? That hurts
Man,
the most, huh?
it does, because you're not there for them. They sacrificed their lives to come out here, and I couldn't even be there to help them out, when they got older.
And that's an interesting point you say, man, because I'm sure if we ask people, man, do you love your family? They'll say, yeah, I love my family.
Yeah,
But my actions was showing that
right.
I didn't love my family
Yeah,
because I wasn't there for them. My action was showing that I was selfish, I was greedy. It was all about me. Forget everybody else. But here I am saying I love my family. And I share with you in the loss of your family member because I lost my mom while I was incarcerated too as well, and that's very painful. I can't help but to think had I been there, how I could have made her life easier.
yeah.
And because of the choices I made, you know, it's just a messed up feeling, man.
And that's not even we're not even talking about the kids yet.
Yeah,
My kids.
yeah, definitely,
Leaving them without a father.
yeah.
Them growing up, feeling of abandonment. It's
Yeah,
just right now, it's still hard for me to have that. I'm never gonna have that relationship that I want with my kids, never. But right now, we have a relationship, and I just thank God for that.
Yeah,
but when you see other people with their kids and, they just got that, they know what their dad might be thinking of and they got that bond, that can't be broken.
yeah,
I don't have that. But you know what? Even though I don't have that, I just thank God for what I do have. But that's another thing that, the damage that you cause is your kids growing up without you.
definitely. Yeah, that's just part of the ripple effects of our actions.
Yeah.
The list go on and on. Now, Bill, let me ask you this: can you actually share with the viewers what will be your approach or your strategy to engage with average youth or the generation behind us, so they won't go down the path that we went down?
Oh, just sharing my story because I was them. I was them, whatever they're going through, I've been there and done that and letting them know the consequences of their choices. And then setting them up. You can't just tell your story and tell them, hey, you're going down this road and this is what's going to happen. You got to give them something, man. You got to be there for them. You got to be a mentor to some of these young ones. You got to give them some type of programs where they can get in, something just to let them know that you care about them. There's a bunch of programs that's out here and, just kind of show them, like what we do with our youth, that comes to our programs. We take them on field trips. And one of the field trips we take them is a longshoreman, because a lot of my brothers work for longshoremen and they make good money. They got houses, homes, cars and all that. And just show them, a career, if you work hard, I mean, and this is a career that you can have. It's not just longshoremen, I mean, but whatever you want to do. And then we take them down to under the bridge where a bunch of the homeless people we feed that come from our neighborhoods. And we let them know you're just a choice away from being down here. And a lot of them get it, a lot of them get it, but you just got to be there for them. You got to help these young brothers and sisters, and let them know that you care about them, man. Let them know that you care about them. Share your story and then help them. Whatever way you can help them, help them.
Hey man, yeah, that's real powerful, man. Thank you for that, man. Yeah. I hear you saying thank God a lot. So God has been your anchor, huh?
Man, God works in mysterious ways. You know that. You know, I believe, when we was together, man, that's the thing that made us, always be there for each other was because, I could tell you was a brother of God, and I had the same thing.
Yeah,
And that's what
definitely.
drove us, man. We
Yeah,
knew our higher power, man. As long as you do the right thing and making the right choices, and God let everything else, He does everything else for you. He opens all
mhm,
the doors that you need to be open, and yeah, I grew up going to church, and I had to go back to it when I started getting my life right, man. I had to go back
mhm,
to the roots, where I come from.
definitely. Can you share with our viewers the name of your organization again
It's called the Fou movement. It's
and
spelled
spell it?
FOU.
FOU. Okay,
Yeah, and FOU is a Samoan word that means new because our organization is new, but it's also acronym that means Fa'atasinga Usos, which means gathering of brothers, bringing light to the darkness we once lived by empowering our community and educating the youth against hate.
bro. You sound like you're very passionate about this, and I want to validate you and tell you I applaud you for the work that you're doing, and not just coming out and just being out, but coming out and being on the front lines and making a difference. And I just want to say it's a breath of fresh air, man. You being here with us today.
Thank you, brother, man. It's always, I love speaking about, just what we do in our community, how we serve them, and just the story, man. I love sharing the story because we come from a place of darkness, but you got to share the light, man. You got to feed our folks that are going through the same thing that we went through. You got
Definitely.
to give them some hope, man. And and I know what you do is hope. Gives a lot of people hope, and so, man, I'm happy to be here, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. Before we go, is there any last thing you'd like to share to our viewers?
Yeah, man. If you're stuck in a place of dark, man, sometimes it'll be just get on your knees sometimes and just ask God for guidance. Ask God for strength and guidance, and Man, it's never too late, man. For some of you brothers and sisters that are stuck in your addiction, it's never too late to let go, man. There's a whole better world on the other side. You know, me and this brother right here, we come from that other side. You know, I was stuck in my mess for 30 years, and he was stuck in his mess for 20 plus years. You know, so we know what it is to be on the other side. But look at us now, you know, we both giving back to our community. We're both doing something, and you can do that as well, man. Don't ever give up on yourself. There's a lot of people out here like me and my brother Emmanuel that care about you. So come on, man. We need the more people, you know, we can get, you know, the more help we can give our community. So we love you, and keep trying to do the right thing, man. I mean, God is there, we're there, you know, so come look for us.
Hey man, that's what's up, man. Well said, man. Hey, look at oh, Bill, man. I'm proud of you, man. I see you in Hawaii, man. I see the waters in the
Well,
background. I see the palm trees.
that's that's
Yeah,
that's in the future, my brother.
that's right. That's right. Thank you,
Yeah.
bro, again, man. Thank you for joining us, and you're welcome back anytime, brother.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. I love you, man. I'm happy to
Yeah.
see you home as well. This is my guy, man. This is a good
Thank you,
brother.
man.
Keep
Love you
supporting
too,
my brother
man.
right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you again, man.
All right.
Camera, camera on.